So hello and welcome back to IQ D&D, the Ramshackle Adventures. I am, as always, your Dungeon Master, James Webster. Joining me are our heroes, Craig Hallam, Sara-Jayne Slack, Hugo Jackson,
Hello.
and David Wilkinson. I'm glad that David went last there, because otherwise that would have been a high bar for the rest of you to meet. Remember that for next time. So when last we left our heroes, they had talked down their murder suspect, Anahis, in the sewers, and discovered that Anahis was a kind of a refugee from a pocket dimension known as the Tangle, who had come to Ramshackle after overhearing some plots from a group known as the Wardens in Tangle, who generally are not down with Tangle having connections to other places. And this group and another group called the Tangle Liberation Army often clash over this issue, and if they were to clash in Ramshackle, it could spell dire consequences for the city. In attempting to address the situation, Anahis did accidentally do a murder and was apprehended by our heroes, and is now being accompanied by them to what they hope is a place of safety. So now the question is, where are you going?
Yes, that is an excellent question.
I think we're going to my father's workshop.
Phenomenal. The second question then is, how are you getting there?
Boringly. Well, we're not teleporting now, are we?
No, everybody shoots a dirty look at the sentient cupboard that we're carrying. Can we tell where we are while we're in the sewer? Is there a way of keeping track of what direction we're moving in and things like that?
It's quite tough. If you wanted to make me a survival roll to navigate the sewers, you could do that. Otherwise, it will be fairly easy to find your way back to the point you entered by. But if you want to get anywhere else, that's survival.
I can try.
Is that all of us rolling, James?
You could all roll individually, or I'd also allow one of you to roll with advantage with help from the others.
I just got 17, which is 20 altogether.
Oh, that's way better than mine.
Yeah.
Oofa doofa. Yeah, you are experienced in moving either illicit goods or people through the sewers of Shackle for one reason or another. And you could get, you think, to any district of the city you wanted. Where would you like to go?
Faria, is there a place near your father's workshop that's not a main street? I don't want us to pop up out of a grate and make someone fall over.
There are some sewer hubs around. I'm pretty sure it doesn't always smell great, but we need them for some of the artificers around there.
Okay.
Yeah, Faria, I think a couple of options occur to you. One is that, yeah, there's like effectively a waste disposal site for the various artificers, tanners, and whatever. That's going to be grim, but you can absolutely come up through there. The other option is the little park that you visited in your dream is kind of on the outskirts of Puzzle, and because there are water features there, probably would connect to the sewers. That might be a little more public, but there are kind of little bits of woodland you could probably hide in.
Okay, so do we think we can smell worse than we already do, is the question.
We've been lying in rubbish.
I don't feel like I smell any different to what I did this morning when I woke up, so no.
Well, I can tell you with my nose that this is horrible. So it's, if we don't want to be seen, we can go that way.
Okay. I think it's more a case of if we can get out without being seen, as soon as we're out,
We'll be fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Why do we care? if people see us emerging from a sewer?
Just because it would be weird, like 6 people climbing out of a sewer carrying a cupboard is a bit of an odd thing. We'll probably get noticed, won't we?
Well, I mean, you get people scavenging for weird things. You know what artificers are like. They'll grab anything and turn it into something else.
That's true. Let's go to the park then. We might be able to wash off slightly at the same time.
Well, that's an interesting question.
What is an interesting question?
Sorry, I was checking to see whether I had... yeah, we could do that, actually. I can cast Fog Cloud if we're really worried about obscurity coming out of the pond, the lake.
Yeah, so I'm going to say, through a kind of slightly roundabout route, you make your way through the sewers to what you are fairly sure is the drains from some of the water features in that park. If anyone wants to kind of try and peek out or have a listen to see how busy it is, give me a perception check.
Wendy, have a look.
Why me?
She's not passed a single perception test in this entire thing.
I have a 20.
Okay, yeah, that'll do it. Yeah. It sounds like there may be a couple of people up there, but there's definitely one kind of grate you can come up through that doesn't sound like there are anyone near it. This is one of the areas where there's a little bit of shrubbery around it because it's around the back of a water feature, so you think that'll be safe-ish.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're good.
Is this up a ladder, James? Do we need to take dex rolls?
Actually, they would be strength rolls and athletics to climb it, but there is a ladder. I don't think it serves the drama at all to have you struggle to get out of this sewer right now.
Okay.
So you can happily climb up the that little ladder out of the sewer grate. If any of you do look like you're going to slip and fall, you'll find yourself suddenly hovering in the air as and a little cheerful with a little cheerful presence in your mind, as Posset would cast levitation on you.
Oh, fair enough.
Posset could be like a lift, just going down with us standing on top of it.
Yeah.
Just come out of the thing with the sword, like Lady of the Lake.
Go on, shapeshifter boy, up you go. You're not going last.
And as you say, and his climbs up as well. And yeah, you are all in a nice park. You splash yourselves down from the fountain that you just come around the back of, and you smell not quite as bad as you did.
Great.
At least one person probably picks an old tea bag off their shoulder.
What's this in my pauldron?
Yeah, but still good. Put it inside.
Yeah, and from there you're just
at one end of Posset and start to pretend to carry it.
Well, I won't be doing that.
And from there you're just a short hop back to Farria's workshop.
Cool.
Excellent. Nice. Faria, do you need to go in first to let your father know that we're here?
Yeah, and I'll make a little bit of space. Definitely not used to having... Hang on, how many of us are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people here, I guess. I'll just clear off the tabletop a little bit.
Thank you.
So I'd nip inside. I have to explain to my dad that I still have the cloak that he gave to me. It's a very expensive piece of material.
That might need a wash.
Definitely does now. Just seasoning it, pre-seasoning it, you know. No one wants it to look absolutely brand new. You just want to look like you've been hiding it for a while and, you know, brought it out for the special occasion.
If it's tweed, it needs to be soaked in urine anyway. So that's what you've been doing.
I would smell like it, probably.
Fantastic. So you head into the workshop, and your father's still there, kind of tinkering away with something.
Okay.
Kind of looks up as you come in. Oh gosh, Farrier, are you quite all right? You've been gone quite a while for that delivery. Did everything go okay?
No. To be honest.
Well, you're still here, so that's a plus. I'm not thinking the worst, at least. What on earth happened?
I don't know that I really want to tell him that I almost died. That would probably not be very good. So we went to the university to deliver to Professor Zephyr, and it was chaos. It was a mess. It was terrible. And we ended up chasing this weird creature into a sewer. And now we have some visitors from through the gate. And I kind of volunteered the workshop to be sanctuary for a little while. And sorry, I'm very tired. But I'll clean up a little bit and I'll make sure that nothing happens.
And he takes all this in for a second, and a look of kind of fatherly compassion, like that kind of care that of someone who doesn't understand, like, but like in a quite mundane way. This is the, well, youth these days getting up to all sorts, and just kind of defaults to that kind of acceptance and compassion, where the only thing to do is, right, well, I guess I'd better put the kettle on.
Sounds like a good idea. I think you remember Alan, right? He's here. He'll probably want a cup of tea.
Ah, that explains it. Right. Yes.
And the realization dawns.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So then I just quickly throw some bolts of fabric under the workshop table and try and make things moderately presentable and go and let everyone in.
Yeah, and you all pile into the workshop. How much space is there in here? What kind of seating options do people have?
There's a box over there. There's a crate. There's probably a couple of chairs, because at one point this was probably functioned as a dining room. So buried under everything, there is probably a set of I suppose 4 chairs. Never needed more than 3, but you don't get them in sets of 3. So yeah, there's 4 chairs and some boxes.
Cool.
Very good. So you can all find some kind of makeshift places to sit, and after a bit, Farrah's dad wheels over and starts handing out steaming mugs of kind of quite fragrant tea. And you with that kind of warm mug in your hands, the steam drifting up into your nostrils, you all breathe out a little and able to take a breath. Mechanically, we can process a short rest here.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
I'm pouring some of my water skin is being poured into the tea.
Perfect.
On my butt.
A short rest, you can recover 1 hit die's worth of points, right?
You can recover as many hit dies as you worth of points, but currently you only have 1 hit die.
Okay. Cool.
And you add your Constitution modifier to the number as well.
Oh, nice. Fantastic. Okay. That's exactly what I needed.
Ooh, excellent. I'm back up to 10.
And if any of you had any once per short rest abilities, they reset, but I'm not sure you do yet.
Anybody need some healing hands, or are we all good?
I'm a bit shy of max, but I'm good. I'm still a bit rough around the edges. I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm okay.
And Anahis is definitely perching on like the corner of a crate, so kind of half on, half off it. Definite kind of like chaotic bisexual sitting energy. And kind of looks at all of you and goes, "So what now? And can we speak freely in front of?" And looks at. Oh gosh, I've forgotten Farrah's dad's name again.
Aiden.
and looks at Aiden, and then looks at Faria.
Yeah, you can trust my dad.
Good, great. So, what do we want to do next? I mean, I'd quite like to find out where the good Professor Bustious is, or do you track down any of Ick's missing books? But also, it might be worth trying to find out what diplomatic relations have begun so far with my
Well, I guess the first
compatriots.
question is whether we want to split up to do all of these things quicker. It seems as though time might be a little bit of the essence.
Yeah, I mean, that seems faster to me. I can just pop back, find Bustious, and bring him back here if you want. I mean, it's an extra person in this little closet, but...
Potentially.
What,
I could go and see the city council.
what
Yeah,
other
I'm
missing
not really
books
good
do we know?
at things like that, so...
That's a good question, Faria.
Yeah, what are the books called?
That's a good question. And not Ick, Posit, again, telepathically speaks to all of you and goes, well, often it's difficult for me to remember the titles of the books once they are no longer within me. The one at least, which I know because Professor Bustious mentioned it, is entitled "The Interplane Emotion for When Your Feet Just Aren't Good Enough." that was the title that allowed me to, often to travel via non-physical means to other places, and indeed was instrumental in allowing me to reach out through the gate.
Sounds like an old dance tutorial book.
I am led to believe that traveling between planes or across vast distances in short amounts of time is much like a dance. You just have to learn where metaphysically to put your feet.
That's interesting.
Do you know how many books you're missing, Posit?
I believe I was missing 3, but one of them is now contained within Ick, who is contained within me.
Okay. So, 2 remaining. So do you know the name of these?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
I'll say you first.
No, I was just saying, do you know the name of the other one?
I'm afraid Professor Bustious did not mention the name of that book to me. I got the impression that perhaps he was trying to keep it a secret.
Oh. So does Ick just kind of sniff them out then, or?
Anahis chimes in here. Ick was able to find that one because I think it was just being kept in Professor Mab's office. Finding the others might be tricky. It might be a question of either asking Bustious, or if Bustious is no longer in possession of them, working out who is most likely to have taken them.
Well, that makes sense. We'll start there then. We need to grab him and tell him that we found Posit anyway, so...
That's true.
So, Anahis, given what you know of either the Wardens or the Liberation Army, where do you think they would go first? Who do you think they would find?
The Wardens would almost certainly try to find the font of authority. So if there were official diplomatic relations that were possible to open, they would have approached there. Given the way they operate, they wouldn't necessarily be engaging in these in good faith. But for them meeting another kind of culture's leaders is a way of them sizing up the opposition.
So they've probably gone to the orderlies then, if they've arrived.
Quite possibly.
If they came through the portal, the orderlies are the first people they'd encounter.
Right. If they did.
Mm.
Or the Council of Scholars?
Yeah, from what you know, those both seem like plausible courses that could have happened.
So at the moment, it sounds as though there are 3 threads that we need to tug on.
And what about the machine that lets you bypass the gate? I mean, that's pretty dangerous, isn't it?
I believe that once Posit has the books returned, then Posit would probably have that ability again.
Right. Okay. So he doesn't at the minute. Then that's good. People sidestepping the orderlies at the gate is not really a good idea, is it? So.
Well, Anahis says it was helpful for me, but yeah, I would not trust most of my country people with the ability to skip through the authorities like that.
Cool. So what do people want to do first? Or shall we split up like Wendy said?
Well, I just feel as though it would be a better use of time.
I think Craig has clocked that every time the idea of splitting up is mentioned, a look of horror crosses my face. The idea of having to manage a split party. It's definitely a thing you can do. It's absolutely fine. It's just it's a trope in D&D that you when you split the party, it's the start of things spiraling out of control.
Level one.
That's a good point. What I'll point out is at the end of this short rest, you will all level up as well. So we'll sort that out before the next episode.
Shiny.
Level two. Right, let's go find the professor first then, because to be honest with you, all this diplomacy stuff isn't really my kind of thing. So once I've told him that I found his cupboard, I'm done. So can we do that first? And then I'm sure you lot will be absolutely fine dealing with the rest.
At least if I can find out whether Zephyr is going to be able to collect this cloak or not. That's something I need to know.
I think if we just rock up at the diplomacy place and say, look, some people have come, are you talking to them? And they go away. And we say, you shouldn't be talking to them because they're real trouble. And they'll say, who are you and what are you doing here? So when you then get asked that question, maybe Professor Bustious might be able to answer some of these questions.
Yeah, on reflection, perhaps giving Professor Bustious a visit from the whole group might be slightly better.
It might impress upon him the seriousness of our intent as well.
Mm.
Yeah, all right, sure.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I agree with Jack.
So marvelous. So Craig, Alan would know that Professor Bustious used to have lodgings in Candle near his workshop and lab. In recent years, Professor Bustious has had something of a fall in reputation due to the frequent mishaps that surround his professional life. So since then, he's had to take up residence on the other side of town, just in Chain, just on the border with Shadow. So around
Jack's area.
Here.
Well, that's just where I woke up. I don't have an area.
It's just where I woke up. Brilliant.
The gate looks like it's giving us the finger.
I'm sure it will be at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it is metaphysically giving the laws of physics the finger, so it checks out.
Right, well, we should just go there then. It'll save us all being in Thoria's workshop as well, won't it? And Aiden
That
can
makes
get to
sense.
Brilliant. So you head towards Professor Bustious's lodgings. You can head up through Puzzle, cross Heart and into Chain. as you get to the kind of slightly rundown house where you know Professor Bustious lives, I'd like anyone who would care to make a perception check.
Wendy.
Okay, here we go. I totally didn't just roll a natural 1.
Hey, same. I did.
Oh, dear me.
Wow.
Why do you do this to me?
It was a 16 for me.
Great.
I also got a 16.
It's just trying to... My dice is just punishing me for that natural 20 I rolled when I was trying to get ick.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to balance the karma of that. So Wendy and Farrier, you both get distracted by a stall that seems to be selling delicious iced buns.
Yes. Goodness, heck yeah.
Um,
I didn't add my 3 to my 16, sorry. 19.
Amazing.
Ooh, nice.
And as the two of them just drift to one side to get ice buns and possibly a nice hot chocolate, the two of you see that one of the windows into Professor Buster's home, it's not easy to see because it's not really broken. It's ajar, but it looks like the latch is has come away from the wall.
I'll just kind of look at Jack and where have the other two gone? Oh, bloody hell. Come on!
And who has custody of Anahis at the moment?
Custard.
Do you want to pull Anna with you, or do you want to have left him being guarded by Aiden?
I guess we were taking him with us, but...
Well, he's been working with Bustious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you've been receptive, so you've still got eyes on Anahis. He's kind of between you and Alan.
Yeah, do you want to go have a look, or?
Yeah, I fancy going in here.
Yeah.
Super. Are you being reasonably discreet, or are you just fantastic? Then
How many exits are there to this
slipping
one?
sorry?
How many exits are there to this place?
You can only see the one, which is the front door.
Okay.
There's a window on the ground floor on the first floor as well, and the ground floor window seems to be the one that someone might have gone in through.
Yeah. I'm drawing my rapier before I go in.
Very good. Alan, you assume there might be a back door as well, but it could be that these houses are kind of backed onto each other. You'd have to take a second to have a look.
Okay, I'll do that just in case we get a runner.
So where were we? Yes, Jack was making a stealth roll.
Yes.
Oh, right, yes. Do I have any special stealth? Hang on. Yeah, I've got a +5. Excellent.
Yeah.
Nice. How are you so stealthy if you're always drunk?
Well, obviously, I shouldn't have added that drink to the.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Put
You
that
start
stuff
to
in
feel
the
the
tea.
effects of not the water.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happens. You approach the window. You just kind of slip into the pedestrian traffic that's going along, getting ready to just take a sidestep towards the window. And as you do that, the pavement is just a little wobblier than you want it to be, and your foot does not find a cobblestone, but instead just slips out from under you. And suddenly a bunch of people look around and see and realize that you were just approaching a window with a drawn sword. And so there are some gasps there. A couple of shouts. What's going on? What are you up to? It's a thief. She's robbing the place.
At least I didn't fall on the sword.
That is true. That could. You know, if I'd been feeling mean, that could have happened. Meanwhile, around the back of the house, make me an investigation check for Alan.
Let's have a look. Investigation. Oh no. -1 to that. That's a big 7.
So it's taking you a bit of time to work out, because there's an alleyway that takes you around, but then it doesn't. There's a wall that you think it would take you around the back of the house. So it's taking you a second through a couple of dead ends to get there. Make me a perception check as well.
Oh, it's natural 20, 24.
You, as you're kind of looking for the alley that will take you behind Bustious's house, you kind of look up. You think maybe I can jump over one of these walls and get there. And as you look up, you see a couple of figures on the roofs of houses overlooking Bustious's, and the light hits just right to illuminate them perfectly. So and you see that they are vaguely human looking, except one of them has a big cut on their neck that you reckon should have killed them, and yet they're up there and kind of walking around, and they seem to be waiting for something to happen.
Bugger.
And it's at that time that you hear some shouting from the front of the house, and these two figures kind of perk up and kind of leap from one rooftop to another, as if they've been alerted by the sound and are now either going to meet someone or going to get someone or get something.
Bugger.
At the front of the house, you hear kind of a muffled thud from inside the window, and the sound of sudden loud footsteps going away from you.
So if I've gone around the back of the house, am I kind of in the backyard type of thing, or do I need to get like over a wall? Or
you're basically one wall away from the backyard at this point, because you didn't quite work out the way there.
In that case, up and over, or I'll try.
Give me athletics. I think you're probably aiming for about a 13 here.
Please roll high. Ooh, 13 on the dice. 18.
Lovely. Yeah, you shimmy up the wall, vault over, action hero style, and you've landed in the backyard. From the backyard, you can see the two figures that you saw jumping over the rooftop have kind of jumped onto the rooftop of this house and are lowering themselves in through one of the windows into the first floor.
Crap. Right. Can I just shout, "Get in the bloody house! They're inside!"
And those of you at the front of the house do indeed hear this. What would you like to do?
I'm assuming we're sort of caught up with Jack by this point.
Yeah, you're just about caught up.
Okay. I'm going to quickly yank out of my pack my what's it? You're all agog. My orderly uniform.
That's the finest what's I've ever seen.
Yeah. So all these people shouting thief or whatever, I think putting on my orderly uniform is probably a good
I'm gonna say rather than putting on the full uniform,
jacket.
there's a jacket you can just quickly shrug on with a symbol on it, and you can just show that to them, and they quieten down for a second.
Good, excellent. And then that's just enough time for the other two to reach me, and we're going, right, we need to get in here. Swords out, lads!
Okay.
Yep. And are you going in through the window, or are you going to try the door?
I'm just going to go through the door now.
Super. So at this point, I would ask everyone to roll initiative, but we'll do that next time.
This is the one challenge. Well, one of the biggest challenges with D&D not at a table is that you don't have the opportunity to just bring in all of the food that you've been craving for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah,
that is the downside. Yeah, the munchies offering to the DM is kind of a very traditional thing that